one. Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Jesse Sanchez, and joining me live on Zoom from Santa Ana, California. He's held the WBC NABF World title, as well as the WBA Gold title. Give it up for Super Bantamweight champion, Mr. Ronny Rios. How you doing today?
How you doing, Jesse? First and foremost, I want to thank you for having me on here, just giving me the opportunity to speak on your show. And thank you for having me once again.
Thank you. Oh, that introduction, it was like tongue twister.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, man, I still want to add more time. I want to add way more titles. I feel like I haven't done what I wanted to accomplish in my career. So, like, hopefully within a year, maybe two, it'll be even a bigger tongue twister, to be honest with you.
So I kind of wanted to start off with, I know you had back in November, you had a fight. Your opponent got COVID. Then the week of, you got COVID.
Yeah.
My question is this, is what was the frustration? How long did it take you for that training?
They kept pushing it back. So we're supposed to fight August, September. Then we heard rumors about October, but it was never penciled in. Then November. So, it just sucked. Just keep postponing. We just keep postponing and postponing. And then, like, I think it was like 10 days where I finally, went to go get tested because I've been vaccinated already. So I didn't know right away that I had it because I was still trying. Because at first it started off with the itchy throat. And then I was like, because obviously we're working out multiple times. I was trying to come down and weight. So I was like, maybe it's just obviously the weight cut. I started getting the itchy throat. And then the next day, my nose started running. And then the next day, I started getting the body aches. And I was like, okay, something's up. So we went to go get tested. And then sure enough, it came back positive. And I was like, it is disappointing. But then at the same time, it's not because I know that the opportunity is going to be there in the future. Like MJ said, he's willing to give me a title shot. He knows I got sick. So now we're pushing it back. I don't know when, but it's going to be in the nearest future. So, you know what? Like I said, I don't know if you can tell from the way of my, from the video, but I'm still kind of light. So it's not like I, let myself go. And with the exception of the 14 days I had of quarantine, I was still, I came back and I was working out.
While you were in quarantine, I take it did you watch the fight?
I did. I actually did watch the fight. I was laughing at the commentary. If you're really you're watching Sal, what would you tell him? And Sergio Moro was like, well, first of all, hi, Ronnie. I hope you're doing good. I started laughing out loud. Damn. So that was pretty funny. And it kind of sucked a little bit because before that, my family had moved out. They had moved out a week prior to that. So when I was quarantined, I had to quarantine on my own again. So they were already gone prior to that. Then I still had to quarantine for 2 weeks and they were still gone. So that's the part that sucks. Like a lot of people, it wasn't necessarily being sick. Yeah, it kind of did suck, but just like not being able to see your loved ones. That's the one. That's the part that hurts the most.
Yeah, especially if you train that hard and then you had to wait an extra 2 more weeks, and that was during the holidays, right? It was during Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah,
Or Thanksgiving.
I was there during Thanksgiving looking at the antibodies, and I was able to enjoy Christmas a little bit more. We're still being safe because obviously you can still get it again, but I was able to enjoy it.
How did you get into the sport of boxing? How did you get into it? At what age?
Weird story. I was actually 13 going on 14. So one time my mom, she went on vacation with, at that time, her husband, which was Alexis Roach's dad. They took off and they left us at my uncle's house. They left us at my uncle Ramiro. He was a Marine. He was a big boxing fan. So he had a lot of magazines laid around the house. And we were bored off mine at that time. So I remember I picked up a magazine on the front cover. I think it was a KO magazine. It was Sugar Shane Mosley versus Border Force Part 2. I remember I saw it. I was like, man, those are some cool names. I picked it up. It was a KO Centerfold. So I had the matchup stats. So I read it and I got into it. I was like, man, those are some cool names. I started reading it. And I think the first fight I believe I remember watching was Floyd Mayweather versus Jose Luis Castillo Part 2. It was the very first fight I watched into it. And then after that, I kept watching more fights. And I was just at my house, just training, running. I remember then my friends, they were a lot bigger than me, so they would always kick my butt because we were typical Mexican guys, had the gloves, front gloves, fight. And then I started watching more boxing, and then I started training, and then I told my buddy, I was like, hey bro, I was like, let's train for 3 weeks, and then let's have like a little fight. He's like, all right. So then I took those 3 weeks pretty serious. Keep in mind that he outweighed me by 20 pounds. I took those 3 weeks pretty serious. I was training. I remember I was running on the railroad tracks. You know, I was shadow boxing. And that's all I was pretty much doing because I didn't have a trainer. I was training myself. And then we fought, and I beat the crap out of him. So I was like, man, this is fun. And then I kept watching boxing. And then I remember I was on a Saturday night. I watched Fresno Kendo versus Chris Bird. I think Chris Bird had like the great everlast boxing gloves. I was like, man, those are cool gloves. I saw the fight. And then on Monday, that's when I met my coach Hector Lopez. And from that point on to now we've been close. Don't get me wrong, it's like a relationship. We always have ups and downs, but we've been super close. And I don't know where to go from there, man. He educated me in the sport of boxing. He made me realize that there's more to the sport. And I was just taking it day by day, and I actually I made it to the Olympic trials after 3.5 years of training. I made it to the Olympic trials. Actually placed bronze, and then from that point on, I wanted to go professional. But my coach was like, "No, you're barely 17. Like, just wait a year." So I think we ended up waiting about a year and a couple months, and I won two or three more national titles after that, after the Olympic trials. And then finally, they had asked me to go represent the U.S. at the it was a dual meet because not Kazakhstan, it was Morocco. It was Morocco, and then also Mexico City too. And that's when finally we went pro.
And in that journey of you going pro, let's take you back to the very first fight when you walked to the stage, center of the ring. What were those feelings?
Man, you know what, man? It's so funny. I was not nervous. So for the very first fight, I remember I was walking out. I was fighting at the Ontario. I don't know if you've ever been to Ontario, California.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I was walking out. It was a short ring walk. I walked out. I had the flags on both sides. I had the Mexican flag and the U.S. flag in one hand. And I remember I walked out, and I ended up stopping my opponent like the first 50 seconds or so. He was just from Puerto Rico. And then it wasn't until the second fight where I got more nervous than the first fight. First fight, I just felt like, oh, heck yeah, like I want to go out there, man. Like, hell yeah, I want to go. And it wasn't until the second fight where I felt a little bit more nervous. First fight, believe it or not. And second fight, he was a tough guy, but we ended up going distance.
What's the feeling after you knock out that opponent?
Actually, I was talking about this today with one of my stablemates. It's just satisfaction, man. It's not just the fight. Even if you knock out your opponent in the first, second, let's just say the eighth round, it's not just the fight that you feel satisfied. It's just, after the fight's over, you get that TKO, that KO, doesn't matter. And you like the announcer, the winner, it's satisfaction. It's not just those 5, 10, 36 minutes, whatever it is. It's the whole buildup. It's 8 to 10 weeks, like all the sacrifice, all the hard work. People don't understand that. Yeah, you knock them out in the second, third round, but it's just the whole dedication, the whole being away from your family, just waking up every single day. And when you wake up, don't get me wrong, you're tired, man. You're just like, damn, just consistent work. And it's just satisfaction. Hell yeah. You can finally rest, man. Go home. And before I used to go up and weigh more than I have lately. I try to stay professional, man. I try to take like 3, maybe 4 days off, and I'll go back to running, doing some cardio, stuff like that. Even on vacation too. We went to vacation. I finished my quarantine, everything in December, and I worked out every single day out there.
Since you're a professional, all the hard work and dedication, what is it like when you have to do this as a full time, but then on the family side and promotional side? Does that sometimes, especially when you're training for like defending the title, could that sometimes be real difficult? Or are you at a stage in your career where you've already been through it and it's okay, like you're used to it by now?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, Jesse, I'm at the point where if for you, for example, if you're going to work, okay, I don't consider this work for me. I consider this my career. I consider my passion still. It's not like whenever you go to work, it's like if you look at it like, "Oh, I gotta go to work," then it's gonna be like, why you're working? Like, man, I don't want to be here. It's just gonna make everything so much worse. But there's days where you're tired, like you're physically, mentally tired, but you just gotta make the best of it. You gotta have a positive attitude. At the end of the day, we're doing what we love to. So I don't want to wake up and be like, oh man, I don't want to. No, man, you wanna go that extra mile, that extra run, that extra workout. I was telling my wife one time, it's like, she's like, how does it feel like now in your career that past? It's just, I told it's like an obsession. Just continue to work on it, continue to work on it. There was times we would have a good day of training, and like around 8, I would show it to my coach. A couple of times I showed it to my coach. I said, "Hey, you know what? I want to work on accommodation." We would work on accommodation. He'd be like, "No, you know what? Just go home." And now, man, it's just working. I just want to get it down. I want to get it down. And it's you can't look at it as negativity, man. If you look at it negativity, then your results are gonna be poor. I work with my strength and conditioning guy. We don't lift heavy. It's not like we're lifting heavy, because at the end of the day, when we're fighting, we're not gonna be lifting our opponent. We're working on certain things, we're working on how to be more explosive, how to work out stuff that normal people are working out, your hands, your calves, your different body parts and stuff like that, your reflexes. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't get not like a repetition, because you always want to advance, you always want to get better, you always want to say, okay, you know what? Like I remember before I was like, man, how am I gonna compete to my last performance? But then now you look at it like, no, heck no, I want to get better. I want to outshine my last performance. I'm not going against anybody else but myself right now.
What would you say to the person wanting to be pro? What piece of advice you didn't know when you were in the business?
Just give it everything you got, man. There's so many people out there that want to do something just so they can say, "Oh, I did that," but they don't go out there and they give it their all. And at the end of the day, man, everybody's gonna criticize you, whether it's your own family, whether it's everybody. And it all comes down to how much you want. You know, don't listen to all that negativity. Just obviously listen to the instructions, let it sink in, and then ask yourself, what can I do to get better? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna fight. Win or lose, you still gotta live with yourself. Did I give it everything I had? Did I give it my best? If you did and you lose, you know what, man? You live to fight another day. Or you just say, okay, you know what, it was a better fighter than me that night. That's it. I remember before in my past, I used to be like, oh, what if? It's at the point where it's like, it doesn't matter what if. You have to go out there, listen to your team, try and execute it. And if you know what, if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way.
Yeah, speaking on what you just said, I always like to do research and kind of your old interviews. And something that stood out is that you said after your defeat, you mentioned you knew what you could have done better. And now since then you've executed that, which that says a lot because sometimes people always want to defend that. Oh, my question is, how did you overcome it? Like who helped you through that process? Was it your corner? Was it your family or was it yourself?
I think it was a part of everybody, to be honest with you. Everybody was trying to help, but
Mhm.
you're not gonna uh, you're not gonna get help unless you accept it. And at the end of the day, it's up to how you accept that defeat. Everybody can tell you, "Oh, you hit so hard. Oh, you're so fast. Oh, man, you technically you're so good." But if you don't believe it, it doesn't really matter. It's after my loss, especially the Ray Vargas fight, that ate at me for a long time, man. It was just because I went out there and I didn't listen to the game plan. I didn't listen to my coach, and at the end of the day, everybody can make excuses. That's what it is, an excuse. At the end of the day, he beat me. He was a better fighter that night. He came to my backyard and he beat me, and that's what ate at me for such a long time, man. I couldn't let it go. I would say it took like 13 months to actually let it go. And it's like who was it? Who was it? I think it was Woodstock that said if you lose and you don't learn nothing from it, then it's a loss. But if you lose and you learn from it, then it's not a loss. I think it was
The lesson.
Woodstock. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, man? I was like, shit. I could have done everything. I could have done a lot of things better. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna blame my coach. I'm not gonna blame the game plan. I'm not gonna blame everybody. I always hear people, all this. I did. It was all on me, man. I let him win. I didn't let him win. He beat me fair square and took the W.
So kind of switching gears, for plans on this year, do you have a plan on how many fights you want to take or any news on when's the next?
No
Your belt?
news, no news, Jesse. But like I said, man, as a fighter, you always want to fight as many times as you can. But you also want to you also want to have the right time to prepare for it. You just don't want a 5 6 week camp, and just I want to be able to prepare mentally and physically 100%. Go out there, give the fight, give the fight fans a great show. Um, as far as what's next, I really hope I get that shot with it, you know, hopefully in the nearest future.
Outside the ring, what do you like to do?
Yeah, you know what's funny, Jesse, is like my coach, my team, my close friends, they always make fun of me. I'm not a big sports fan. You know, I don't watch unless it's like the Super Bowl. I don't watch football that much. You know, I'll try to watch. I try to watch Williams from the Chargers because obviously we train in the same gym, so he's a cool guy. Mike Williams. I try to watch a little bit of baseball because my wife is a hardcore fan. She likes baseball, football. So, you know, they always make fun of us. Like, I like to watch, you're not going to believe this. I like to watch TV shows and movies. And to be honest with you, I like to spend a lot of time with my little man, when I can. You know, I like to take him to the park and stuff like that. After the last fight, I was getting invited, you know, through Instagram to like attend this party, this club, you know, all this stuff. And it's not that I didn't want to go. It's just that when you're getting ready for a fight, you don't see your family as much as you can. It to me, that's more important, especially going out to a club and stuff like that. So I prefer to hang out with my family, you know, and my friends. Team too. My team and I, as much as we make fun of each other and we see each other every single day, 6 days a week. When we're not in the boxing gym, it's like I don't know. It's just random jokes you know, everyone gets made fun of, so it's a stress reliever.
What is speaking of TV shows, what's one of the TV shows that you're watching right now that you like?
Right now, my wife and I we are stuck on Shameless. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, yeah, Shameless.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
like 3 episodes away from what was finishing it. So that's one around that one. I like The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. Obviously Breaking Bad. We watched that. Narcos. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that show On My Block? I was in that one.
So
Yeah.
what I like to do towards the end of the interviews, I'm just gonna throw like random questions, quick questions, quick answers. Okay.
All right, man. They call me Randy Rolling. So let's go.
When you're working out, what is the song that you listen to that you have on repeat?
Anything by Calvin Harris or EDM station. EDM station. I also like Bad Bunny too. You know, Chinese Sanchez too. I'm a big Chinese Sanchez fan.
What does it mean to be a fighter to you?
Dedication and hard work.
What is at the end of the day when you hang up your gloves? How do you want to be remembered in the ring?
As a fighter that fought the best, that did not turn anybody down.
How do you want to be remembered outside of the ring?
As somebody that would take off their shirt to help somebody out. You know, as somebody that would I would go out of my way to help somebody out.
What is a fight that you want to see happen in this year?
Alexis Rocha versus Rashidi Alex part two.
Ooh, a good one.
Yeah.
What is a venue that you still haven't had the opportunity to fight in that you would like to make it
The
happen?
Wembley. And is it Manchester? Oh, is it Manchester, right?
Manchester, yeah,
Yeah,
Manchester.
Wembley, yeah.
That's a big that's a big place.
Heck yeah. I've always wanted to fight the UK, man. I've always wanted the UK.
Whenever you step into the ring, the day of the fight, do you have any rituals? Is there anything you do?
I go underneath the ropes 3 times, back and forth.
And that do you do that even in training or just the day of the match?
Yeah, sparring too. I spar too. That too. And I always when I and like the day of the fight, the day of the actual fight, I always like to eat my oatmeal and my waffle too, breakfast.
All right, last question. On social media, how can the fans or how can everyone reach you? Or
Instagram, Ronny underscore Rios underscore.
perfect. Is there any sponsors, stablemates, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I just want to give out a shout out to to the gym I work out at, TKL, you know, Alexis Rocha. He's been putting in the work, you know, Abel Mejia, Johnny, all the guys I work with, you know, we've all been pushing each other and grinding. And also my coach, Hector Lopez, uh, Cornerman, Robert Villa, Cesar Campos, all the people that have, you know, officially that have dedicated, that have supported us thick and thin. Obviously, my wife, my son, you know, my mom, everybody out there. Thank you so much. You know, when I do fight, I just want to dedicate this fight to them and also the city that I was raised in, Santa Ana. Babe, continue to live here, continue to run here, continue to train here. So, yeah,
You said it's too you got to represent.
of course, man. Of course, man. Freaking, a lot of people are like, it's funny. A lot of people always come up to me after fights or when I'm seeing, like, oh man, you know, man, you're representing our city and stuff like that. So, oh, where do you live? Oh, I live over here. So, oh, you live, dude. Like, yeah, bro, like I still live here. It's like it's freaking beautiful, man. It's tough to leave.
Yeah. Well, that's it, champ. I like to keep it short and sweet, and hopefully after your fight we can get you back in.
And man, anytime you just reach out to me, I'll try to make it work. Like I said, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. I really like this podcast.